sir. My topic for this afternoon is all about policing as social control. Law enforcement is a societal function necessary for internal stability and security. Through the process of law enforcement, society exercises a form of social control of behavior, deviant or otherwise. Every society has social control mechanisms because they serve as a means of socialization or the process of teaching the culture and norms of the society to its members. Social control mechanisms are either formal or informal. Formal mechanisms generally refer to the units of the governing authority of the country. Formal social control units in democratic societies include the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the structure at all levels of the government. Informal mechanisms include family, peers, religious organizations, schools, significant others, and so on. Social control mechanisms are not simple to classify. For example, where education should be placed. The educational process can be considered as a formal control mechanisms because it is often supported by government institutions. What a person learns in school, however, is not simply the formal curriculum but many other things as well, such as social skills, teamwork, manners, customs. Those it will fit equally well as informal mechanisms. The social control mechanisms of a social society do not exist in a vacuum. Social, economic, and political influence have also impact on social control. This influence cause shift in attitudes and values over time in that they can cause society to become more conservative or more liberal in its approach controlling behavior. As with formal, informal social control mechanisms, the influential factors are not easily categorized into social, economic, or political ones. For example, the factor of poverty is listed in older categories. Is poverty social condition? Is it is it an economic one? What influence do politics and public policy have on poverty? In Cole persuasively argue each of these positions and there is validity to each. Policing social control, ito ay isang panlipunang kontrol tulad ng Merriam-Webster ay kilala bilang ilang patakaran at pamantayan sa lipunan na pinapanatili ang mga individual na salaysay sa mga pamantayan, pati na rin ang paggamit ng mga formal na mekanismo at ang konsepto ng kontrol sa lipunan ay nag-uugnay sa paniniwala ng kaayusang panlipunan, isang konsepto na kilala bilang umiiral sa mga sumusunod na lugar ng lipunan. Habang ang konsepto ng kontrol sa lipunan ay nasa paligid mula noong mabuo ang organisasyong sosyolohiya, ito ay binago sa paglipas ng panahon. Policing and law enforcement. The term policing activities is used to refer to subset of law enforcement that applies to the process of regulating the general health, safety, welfare, and morals of society as it relates to criminal behavior. The policing function in other foreign countries are primarily observed through the operations of the criminal justice system and are related with the prevention, detection, investigation, and prosecution of crime. The police of law enforcement officers affiliated with the agencies who are engaged in the policing functions can be referred to as law enforcement employees. However, in other foreign countries, police officers are a unique group of law enforcement officials because they are armed and are authorized to use CRIM and physical force under certain conditions when carrying out their duties. There are non-military and military armed government employees who are granted with the authority to prevent, detect, investigate, prosecute criminal behavior, and apprehend alleged offenders. Therefore, the individual persons or groups of persons inclined in policing activities should know that the terminology associated with the police officers and their affiliations in police organizations or agencies is important and occasionally confusing. The term law enforcement, on the other hand, is to describe one of the many functions within policing agencies. In the fact the local policing agencies, police officers normally spend less than 20% to 30% of time in engaging to crime-related law enforcement functions. Most of their time are spent on crime prevention and control calls more service and order maintenance function. Law enforcement, policing law enforcement, pagpapatupad ng batas ay nagpapahiwatig ng sa pilitang pagsunod. Ang policing ay nagmumungkahi ng kusang pagsunod kung saan ang pag pagpapatupad ng batas ay gumagamit ng patakaran ng batas at banta ng parusa upang maipatupad ang pagsunod. Policing ay inilalaan upang harapin ang mga pag-uugali sa pamamagitan ng mga ugnayan sa komunidad at pagtugon sa mga sanhi ng ugat. Concluding remarks. Some police bodies are constituted as part of the armed service in some European countries. It is normal to recruit a police those who have served as regular soldiers or sailors. It is even more common to appoint retired Army, Navy, or Air Force officers to command police forces since World War II. The trend has been in the opposite direction, and it is due to the fact that police forces are recruiting applicants who are not servicemen in the armed forces. A number of significant shifts have occurred, including major reforms in public policing and substantial expansion of the private security industry. Hence, the degree of current developments in policing activities can be interpreted as a sharp qualitative break with the past differences in the perceptions about the police are anchored to the very core of the role of the police in the society. Most people assert that the police are not only responsible for preventing crime and apprehending offenders, maintaining peace and order, and ensuring public safety, but also in so many varied activities that partakes on the protecting lives and properties. Therefore, it is concluded helpful to locate the set of changes within the framework of policing in the wider and broader context in a local and global perspectives. Moreover, rather than viewing the current developments as a fragmentation of policing, is suggested to see them as a part of a long-term process of the formalization of mechanism of the social control process. That policing business in the different countries has seen many changes in the past decades, and most of them are positive and will be nice to break even, but the most recent trend appears to be a rise in assaults, especially the random ones against the police officers. Finally, the various police forces in the different places of the world has undergone significant developments, not only in terms of human and material resources, which had started from the private beginning towards a more advanced police administration and operations, vis-a-vis with the logistical sophistication and computerization. Concluding remarks: kailangan baguhin ng iba't ibang mga gawang pulisya sa bansa upang magdala ng higit pang pananagutan upang maipakita ang katuparan ng mga pulisya at katuparan sa gobyerno. Ang mga independent na tauhan ay mayroong malawak na karanasan at kaalaman sa batas at pamamahala sa accounting, serbisyong panlipunan at iba pa, ay dapat italaga bilang mga membro ng mga katawan na gumagawa ng pagtatalaga at humahawak ng mga reklamo laban sa pulisya.